So a funny thing happened to me at work today. I ran into a leftist, all right? A self-proclaimed millennial. Born, I think he said it was 1992, if I can remember correctly. It was right around there. All right? Yeah, it was 1992, that's right. All right? And he just cut his hair off, right? And we started to have a conversation and went political and everything. Turns out he was a high school teacher. That's what he said. I believed him. And it started coming up political. We started talking about the CRT, and I started talking about the human consciousness waking up, and that both sides needed to speak up. The minority and the majority, the people out there banging the drums, the BLM, and I mentioned the CRT, and I mentioned the parents starting to wake up and finding out about Disney and all the schools, and he tried to convince me CRT wasn't real, but then he started speaking the lingo of the CRT, of the politically correct. And he goes, my students, this is why I believed he was a teacher, because he says, my students, whether they be in the black, white, or Latino X. And right there, that Latino X, don't you ever dare call me a Latino X. You call me Latino, or you call me Hispanic, or you can call me a beaner. But that Latina X or Latino X, Latin X, that's what he said, Latin X. Do not call me Latin X. I do not like that. You just put yourself in the woke category. You might as well be a member of Antifa or BLM right there. Right there, I knew CRT existed because he was trying to convince me it didn't existed. And then he was having the hardest time. And by the way, this guy was very cool. I think he was kind of going through his maturation, or he was maturing right there. That's why he's cut his hair. He's kind of going through some stuff. I could feel it, and I knew he was, because I've been there as a male at 42 years old. I've been there when I had to wake up in my parents' garage, and I said this when I was dating that girl Cherie, and realized, like, I can't have this beautiful woman right here. I'm living in my parents' garage. She's cool. She's rolling with me. We smoking weed. We're drinking and everything. But this ain't gonna mature into something beautiful, you know? So I had to let her go. And that was what it was. And then after that, I tried to correct myself. And when I did correct myself, I went out there into the party of Pacific Beach, San Diego, and Ocean Beach. I had everything. I had the beaches. I had my crate. I had everything going on. And then I realized, like, what's wrong with society? Because something had been wrong with the institutions, with the schools. They have been programming them with CRT, because this guy that I had at the bar, who was struggling to try to convince me, but at the same time stopping himself because he can kind of see it. It's like, how far are you gonna go, dude? How? And that was my I was countering his points with, like, yo, at least I can come to the table and talk about Trump and Biden. I can go. And he was just like, boom, boom. I was like, he wanted me to be all Republican and Trump. And I'm like, Trump's got problems. This. And then I could see where I was countering him. And I was just countering him. You're talking to a bartender for over 17 years, a 42-year-old man. He looked at me as if he thought I was younger than him. And I said, thank you. But no, I'm not. I'm old. I'm a freaking tarot card reader. I can measure you up in the drink that you ordered. I can measure you up in the drink or the beer you ordered. You're already measured up. I'm not trying to brag, but that is what I am, okay? I can measure you up in the drink and how you ordered it and paid for it. And so when you come to my bar, it's like that. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm slipping and I'm busy and it's crazy and I'm not always perfect. But yes, when it's slow, and it was like the time it was. So I started to see, oh my God, I have a true leftist who probably went out there and rioted during the BLM riots. A professor, a teacher of high school. And he was in my clutches, not in my clutches, but in my observations. So it was such a good conversation. At the end, he was like, wow, because I could see him trying to come with his leftist ideology, and I would just smack it away. You know, I'd be like, nope, 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 not going to get me to go there, not going to get me to go there. And this is why I commented so much over the past 2 years, over 2020 and 2021, because I had to understand the psychological attack that was upon all of us, right? And he tried to bring in, you guys know how America was founded. Yo, I'm not worried about America was founded. I'm worried about 2022 and how we're going to go forward, okay? Okay? That's what I'm worried about. Where do we go from here? We have people that can't afford to pay their rent. We have multiple people living on the streets. We're the supposedly richest country that ever existed, and there's people littered all over San Diego. It's terrible. It smells like urine downtown. How do we fix that? Or we could worry about 3,000 years ago or 300 years ago when they had slaves, okay? Was that really slavery or was that just people that worked on a farm? I don't know, okay? We can worry about other things. Like when I cross the border every day, I see hundreds of Mexican immigrants with Mexican passports in their hands just being processed through the border. We can see where are they going exactly. Are they going to uh, Seattle, Washington to go look at the Space Needle? I don't know. Do they return? Or are they going to Nebraska to try out for the Nebraska Huskers college basketball team? I don't know. Are they going to New York to clean up Times Square and then return promptly? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm seeing these things. And then it was just so funny because at the end of our conversation, he was just like, you were very enlightening. And I was like, you were very enlightening. And I could tell you were a staunch leftist. And he was trying to pass his thoughts and ideas on me, but it couldn't. And the second he said Latinx was the second I knew CRT did exist. He tried to convince me it didn't, but he couldn't even start his argument with me because I just stopped him and said, in a different way, in a very different way, in a subtle, different way, I led him down a rabbit hole. I led him down a path to be like, don't. I see what you're doing. Okay? There was slavery 300 years ago. I'm not worried about 300 years ago. I'm worried about now because I'm 42 and I only got about 40 years left. So I want to make my mark while I'm here. I don't want to worry about the mark they made back then. I don't want to worry about some dude that was racist 300 years ago. I want to worry about 2022 and moving forward. All right. And that's what I think was the symbology with him cutting off his hair. I think he's kind of dropping the act and he's starting to see through it. And the one thing I said too was like, bro, if you're going to talk to me, I can talk to you about Trump and I could talk to you about Biden. I could talk to you about the Republican Party and I could talk to you about the Democratic Party. And his whole main objective was, his whole main goal that he wanted to get to me is that we're too divided. Of course, we're too divided. That's why they had to divide the gay community to LGBTQ. I remember I said it to him. He was like, LGBTQRS. He said it right. And I was like, see the division? With that being said, the backup bartender, not the backup bartender, but the other bartender at the job today is married to a man named Michael. Same name as me. I know them both. I love them both. Known them for years. I don't see color. I don't see difference. I just see people, you know? And then I said that. I said, the only time I'll like refer to a black person is when like, oh, it's my homie over there, you know, Eduardo. He's the black dude over there in the corner with the hat, you know, the Oakland A's hat or whatever. I don't see that. I don't see all that. Understand that the LGBTQ, all this stuff is to create division. All right. Latinx is to create division. And he wanted to push his ideas and thoughts, but he was breaking from him. And I believe that's why he cut his hair. And with that being said, homie was cool. All right. And I liked him. We had a good, deep conversation, but it was a balancing act and I could feel it. And that's why they say don't talk politics or religion at the bar. But right now at 2022, we have to. All right. We have to break through these conversations. And this is why they wanted to shut everything down. And they used the Rona because they didn't want these delicate conversations to be had and stuff like I'm telling you right now to be said because it's being manifested. And when I can dig into a leftist's brain, I can understand the main vein. I could tap into it because I'm sick like that, Holmes. Because it's all about the balancing, the yin and the yang. And now you really understand the yin and yang, the balancing. All right? With that being said, peace out, Holmes. We'll talk later. Peace out.